Now we're going to move to Capernaum. So we're going from where we left off at Magdala, 5 miles to the northeast, to the city of Capernaum that became Jesus' base of operations. Peter and Andrew had moved from Bethsaida, 2.5 miles to the east, down the northern shoreline, along the northern shoreline to Capernaum, owned a home, owned a business, and there we pick up with all kinds of biblical narratives about Jesus healing Peter's mother-in-law, about Jesus casting a demon out of a young man in the synagogue, and that kind of thing that you read about in the Gospels. So now we will go to the city of Capernaum. We're moving from the northeast to the southeast, or along the northern shoreline. This is the Greek Orthodox Church of the 12 Apostles. You can see the shoreline of the Sea of Galilee at the bottom of the screen, and now we come to Capernaum proper. Underneath this dark building is the Church of St. Peter, a Roman Catholic church. We also have a little monastery that is there, and now we're looking at the Sea of Galilee from behind the excavations at Nazareth. This particular building here, the white building, is a later synagogue, probably from the 4th or 5th century AD. So not the synagogue in terms of the floor, the walls, and the ceiling that Jesus knew. Evidently an earthquake had destroyed that one, but there was an earlier synagogue that was evidently underneath this one. Its foundation can still be observed today. It's made of a different kind of rock. That white rock had been imported. The indigenous darker basalt volcanic rock is what the foundation is made of, that can be seen here, and also on the other side of this synagogue in Capernaum. There's that darker basalt rock there that composed the foundation of the earlier synagogue. Sea of Galilee, of course, in the background. Absolutely beautiful view that we get to enjoy today. Since we can't go there literally, we can go there digitally. And so we're just really glad to have you on the bus today. The Sea of Galilee, it's 13 miles long from north to south, and about 7 miles or 6.5 miles wide from side to side, east to west or west to east. Gorgeous location here at Capernaum. We usually spend a couple of hours here sitting on benches, sitting in the shade that these trees provide, some wonderful sitting areas that we can then use to discuss the nature of synagogues and Jesus' ministry in synagogues, and then we move to the synagogue itself and discuss its architecture, the archaeology surrounding that. From there, we move along this area that is simply homes, and there we find a series of homes, at least 5 of them, that had stairs going up the outside wall of the home. Not indoors like we would expect, but outside of the home, which is likely the backdrop of the story of the paralytic man carried by 4 friends that couldn't get into the home, but was taken up on the roof and let down through a hole they made in the roof. This just simply is great backstory and corroborates the accuracy of those that gospel story, in that you couldn't hardly hoist a man up onto the roof if you didn't have access first yourself, and then it would be really difficult to get a full-grown man who was unable to move and help himself up a wall and onto the roof without the help of some series of steps. These excavations have helped to clarify, to help us to understand the dynamics behind that particular story. Sea of Galilee in the background, moving from this home area, family area, We are still in a family area underneath this church, can be seen through plexiglass, that archaeologists have identified as the home of Peter and Andrew, and probably eventually morphed into the earliest church ever existing, first century church.